The Ace Bailey situation has revealed something about Utah, about Ace Bailey himself, and ESPN and the media. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. All right, guys. So I wanted to talk about a few things that I think people are missing here. Some things from Sarah Todd that were great, that confirmed some questions I had. If you haven't read the Sarah Todd article from the Deseret News, it's fantastic. She does an exceptional job of explaining this or that, but I'm going to talk about a few things that she kind of covers just from my perspective. One of the things that bugged me about this situation is that we found out, and enemy number one in this entire situation has to be Omar Cooper. He is the guy that is providing Ace Bailey with rough and bad kind of advice going into this draft process. Sarah Todd did a great job explaining that Ace Bailey owes Omar Cooper some things because Omar Cooper helped him in the AAU circuit, which undoubtedly helped him. He also kind of credits Cooper with helping him with some of his skill development, which is great. And, part of that was also helping him get to Rutgers and where he is now. So, there's some credit there, but the advice and the guidance he's getting right now is terrible. And one of the things I did not know or realize, or just I wasn't sure on, was what Omar Cooper even is for Ace Bailey. And Sarah Todd did a great job confirming it, but it was pretty clear. There is a difference between a player agent and a player manager. And I don't know if people realize how many of these different business people, entities are around these players, but there's a lot. And a lot of these players, especially the ones that are high-level guys that have a lot of money, have player managers. They manage kind of their day-to-day. They manage a lot of different things for the player so that they can just focus on basketball. What's the difference between a player manager and a player agent? Well, agents have to be licensed. And the first thing that made me think that this was not going to go badly for Utah was when I found out that Omar Cooper is not a registered agent or licensed agent. You have to be licensed. We got video from the FSO office or whatever it's called that is the player agent for Ace Bailey. They are separate than Omar Cooper. They're his agency. They're his agent. They are the ones that are managing contracts. They're the ones that will sit down with Utah and figure out contract extensions and things like that. Try to get their client as much money. They take a percentage of that and make it happen. But then players also have things like player managers. They are guys that do things like set up their housing wherever they go. They kind of manage their day-to-day. They manage their deals. A lot of times these guys will be involved with different kind of charity events, and they'll help set up they may do things like sponsorships and things like that. That's where there's gray area, because who's handling that? Who's handling I would imagine that the agency probably does more with sponsorships and things like that, but player managers might, and they might even have multiple agencies to do those different things. I imagine the agency is going to do more. They're going to go get different sponsorships and things, but a player manager might do that. But think of the player manager as someone that's just helping them with their day-to-day. When these players, they get traded all the time. They need someone to figure some of these things out, whether it's finding them a place to live, helping them get a car, helping them figure out different things, because these guys are going to be at the gym all day. They're going to want to go out and they're going to be playing games. They're out of town half the time. So these guys help them out in a lot of different ways. I'm not a player manager. I don't know all the ins and outs in that, but just an example, I know that, John Collins has a player manager that lives here in Utah and has his own place. John Collins has a place like near the stadium, and then he also has another house that's kind of his hangout house where he just kind of, when he's got vacation time and he's in Utah or whatever, he's living there. So these guys have a lot of money. They have a lot of different things. They need people sometimes to just help them out. Now, if they have a family, maybe they just have their family do that and whatnot, and sometimes that's what happens, but sometimes they do have these managers. And that's why I honestly felt pretty bad for Ace Bailey, because I can see this situation being really tough. Like, if this guy is a big part of his life and has helped him in a lot of different ways, but is now kind of trying to take control of things and is doing some of these decisions, like telling teams that he's not going to work out with them, that's tough, because he's an 18-year-old kid. He's a kid. My oldest daughter's 16. It's crazy to me thinking about her in 2 years having to do things like fire an agent. And if you go to Omar Cooper's page, the guy looks like, he's a grown man. And if you're a kid and this guy has a strong personality and a strong presence and things, that would be tough, So I felt bad for Ace Bailey with this whole situation, because literally everything that Ace Bailey said was good. Every interview he gave afterwards was him being excited. Everything his agency said, they were thrilled. He said he's thrilled to go to Utah. And then you have everything that was negative coming from this Omar Cooper guy. So, this was one of the things that I was thinking about too. You got to give credit to the Utah Jazz, because the Utah Jazz have now gone through the headlines. They've gone through the media that was trying to create a story that really wasn't there. Ace Bailey was going to the Jazz, whether it was tough or not, and he made the right decision. In fact, it sounded like he just had made that decision anyway. It seemed more like a media thing trying to stay in with Omar Cooper than anything, and that's really the reality of it. I feel bad for Ace Bailey, because the reason they hire agents is to handle contracts. The reason they hire player managers is to handle everything else, so they don't have to think about it. Right now, Omar Cooper should be thinking about getting Ace Bailey a place here in Utah that's really nice, right? They know what they're going to make contract-wise, according to the CBA. He knows how much money he's going to make. Get him a house, Omar! Do it right. Okay? Stop messing around. And it sucks for Ace Bailey, because if he's in a situation where someone's not doing a good job taking care of him and he has to fire this guy, that sucks. He's an 18-year-old kid. You know what Ace Bailey probably wants to worry about? And that's what he's literally said is, I want to worry about basketball. I don't want to worry about that stuff. That's why you hire these people. So what you worry about is you get up in the morning, you go to practice, you develop, you go home, you eat, you go back. Maybe it's a 2-a-day practice. If it's training camp, there's going to be a lot of time at Zions Bank Basketball Center playing basketball, getting better, and then going to games and then traveling with the team. Because guess what? Summer League's coming up. And once Salt Lake City Summer League's over, he's going to Las Vegas Summer League. He needs Omar Cooper to help him figure out his situation here in Salt Lake right now, so that he can go to Las Vegas, play basketball, do well, and not have anything bothering him, right? That's what's got to happen. And it sucks that Omar Cooper really failed him in this situation. And it's clear he's trying to get in on that money, because this is the thing that happens with some of these players. They get these situations where people are trying to take advantage of them. And I feel bad for him, because he seems like a great kid. And every single report and every single thing we've heard about him from media who are close to the situation is that he's a great kid, that he's actually a hard worker and a good guy. And I think some people said he's a sweetheart. He's a nice guy, good teammate. So I'm excited for Ace Bailey. I feel bad for him that he's been in this situation. He just doesn't deserve this on a night where he should be excited about being drafted, a dream come true to play in the NBA, something all of us basketball nerds would dream about happened. And instead of that, he's dealing with everyone asking him, what about this? Why aren't you going? Are you going? Are you going? Do you like Utah? What about Utah? What about your agent? Who's doing what? It sucks. He should be enjoying basketball. So I'm excited to see his press conference with Utah. I'm excited to see that whole situation. It will be good. What this also revealed is stuff about ESPN, and we got a really clear idea of who's getting their sources from where, okay? Because these guys get sources from different places, and it is very obvious that Jonathan Givony is using player managers and guys close to the AAU circuit as his sources. Very obviously, Omar Cooper was using Jonathan Givony as a source. Very clear. It was interesting to me. And then it's very clear who's using player agencies, and I guess management too, as their source. We have to give a huge amount of respect to Jonathan Windhorst and everyone else. It was phenomenal to see Brian Windhorst just go up there and say the truth. Like, guess what? He's going to go. Utah's not backing up. And he's probably hearing that from Ainges, Austin Ainge, Danny, Justin Zanuck. I don't know if Ryan Smith, probably not, but maybe. And then also the player agent. They were very, very pro him going to Utah. It is a phenomenal situation. It is absolutely incredible for him to go to Utah and get this. But anyways, what I wanted to say is that it's very inside look. The Pandora's box opened up a little bit there. And we saw that some of these guys get sources from different places. And it is also a good reminder that sometimes there are guys that do know these things. When you see these random weird rumors that I post on here or write about on SLC Dunk, they come from some of these places. Different than just agents and the team. Player managers, family of players, things like that. Sometimes these people are close to these guys, and you don't always know who has their best interest at heart, all right? So I thought that was interesting. I thought it told a lot about, it was kind of disappointing to see Jonathan Givony playing into that a little bit. And I guess I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to keep his sources good and strong and communicative because he's going to be doing this for a long time. But it's also disappointing because it sucked for Ace Bailey to have to go through that. Instead of just being able to enjoy the fact that he's now an NBA player, he's in a situation where he is going to succeed if the Jazz do things right. And I guess that's what I want to talk about. Utah, more than ever, has to do this right. They have said, we're drafting this guy. We believe in him. We think he's the best talent available. The Utah Jazz have to trade these other guys that are in the way. Trade John Collins, trade Colin Sexton, trade these guys so that Ace Bailey can come into this Utah Jazz team and have an opening to play. Now, if you want to trade Lauri Markkanen or not, whatever. But you cannot play a lineup that does not have Ace Bailey prominently figured. He needs to be playing at least 28 minutes per game this upcoming season. He has to. And preferably starting. Because when you draft a guy this high, when you tank to lose games to get a talent like this, and this is what the Jazz did. They tanked so they could get a top 3 talent, and that's what they got. Everyone had Ace Bailey not top 3 all season. All season. And Utah got him. And I have to say, so anyways, to finish that thought, do the right thing, Jazz. Make these trades. Clear the deck, because this is what you need to do for Ace Bailey to succeed. 100%. But in a weird way, we got to give a little bit of credit to Omar Cooper. The luck and the way this kind of panned out, for him to tell like Philadelphia and Charlotte to not draft him. Thank you, Omar Cooper. It kind of reminds me of that scene in the movie with Will Ferrell, and I can't remember, they're a buddy cop movie, and he goes, how'd that work out for you? Did that work out how you thought it would work out? If you remember the movie, let me know in the comments. But it didn't work. It worked out for Utah in a strange way. Now Utah has Ace Bailey because Philly was too scared, and so was Charlotte. And the Danny Ainge and Austin Ainge being the main guy, said, no, we're drafting him. We're number 5. We're an NBA franchise. You're joining the Utah Jazz. And if it's uncomfortable for a day or two, that's okay. And Utah was fine dealing with it. They were willing to go to the long haul with this. And Omar Cooper blinked because the media started looking into this, and he started getting absolutely viral online. You can see all the stuff. It didn't look good for him, and it wasn't looking good for Ace Bailey. Now it's all cleared, and I hope, and I know that Jazz fans are going to embrace this kid because he's a good kid. He's a funny kid. He seems like a nice kid, and all he said is that he wants to go play basketball and work hard and succeed and give his all. That's great. What else could you want him to say? And so, phenomenal. So, Utah Jazz, you need to make this work. Jazz fans, I know you will, but let's embrace this kid. Let's just be the best version of ourselves so that he becomes a part of this Jazz franchise for a long time. I think this is just such a blessing in disguise for Ace Bailey. He's going to come into an organization that's more well-run than the Sixers. It's more well-run than the Hornets. It's got a better coaching. I mean, I guess you could argue that the Wizards is not a bad situation, but so what? Utah was braver and more willing to do the right thing and draft the guy than they were. And I tell you what, AJ DeBonsa was commenting on Ace Bailey's Instagram, and it was pretty cool to see them interacting. Things are changing in Utah. These guys are seeing that Utah is a nice place to be. It's a fun place to be. Jazz fans worship these guys. They treat them like kings. You make a lot of money here because you can succeed in this place. And they'll find out it's a nice place to be. His family will come here and will be embraced by Jazz fans wholeheartedly. And I have no doubt it's going to go really well. It's fantastic. And so it's going to be really good. I'm excited to see this guy play for Utah. Guys, like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much to the All-Stars and all the members who support it. I really appreciate it. I will talk to you next time.